Right now, somewhere in your company, a Gen Z employee is updating their resume. They are sitting at the desk you gave them, using the laptop you provided, inside the role you hired them for, and they are quietly, methodically preparing to leave. Not because the pay is wrong, although that matters, not because the commute is too long. They are leaving because of something that happens, or rather, something that doesn't happen, in the small, ordinary, unremarkable moments of a regular workday. The moments most managers never think to examine. Generation Z has now officially become the fastest churning workforce segment in modern employment history. Studies from Gallup and Deloitte consistently show that over 60% of Gen Z employees are either actively job searching or open to leaving within the first year of employment. HR departments are calling it a retention crisis. Executives are blaming entitlement. Consultants are recommending higher salaries and ping-pong tables. Here is what most people don't realize. This is not a compensation problem. It is a neuroscience problem. It is a daily behavior problem. It is the accumulation of tiny, invisible decisions made by managers every single day that either build or systematically destroy the psychological conditions under which Gen Z is capable of genuine loyalty. The good news is this. This solution is not expensive. It does not require a restructured benefits package or a workplace culture overhaul. It requires 7 specific behaviors practiced daily that speak directly to how the Gen Z nervous system actually functions. Do these things every day, and your Gen Z employee will not just stay. They will build something with you that your competitors cannot replicate or recruit away. Thing 1, tell them the why. Before the what. Every morning, before you assign a task, before you send an instruction, before you forward an email with, "Can you handle this?" typed above it, add one sentence. One sentence that explains why this task matters, why it connects to something larger than the task itself. This is not a communication style preference. This is a neurological requirement. Science has now confirmed that the prefrontal cortex, the region of the brain responsible for sustained motivation, creative engagement, and long-term commitment, cannot fully activate without a felt sense of purpose. When a Gen Z employee receives a task without context, their brain does not default to compliant execution the way previous generational conditioning might have trained an older worker to do. Their brain asks, automatically and almost involuntarily, "Why does this matter?" If no answer comes, the prefrontal cortex does not fully engage. They complete the task at the surface level, while the deeper cognitive machinery stays offline. One sentence. This report is going to the board meeting on Thursday, and it could directly influence the new product decision. That single sentence is the ignition key. It tells the brain, this is worth activating for. It is the difference between a deliverable completed and a problem genuinely solved. Thing 2. Acknowledge before you instruct. Before you give the feedback, before you hand over the correction, before you redirect their work or shift their priorities, spend 60 seconds acknowledging where they currently are. Not a performance review, not a motivational speech, just a single genuine observation. I can see you've put serious thought into this structure. Or, I know you've been carrying a lot this week. 60 seconds. Then proceed with whatever you needed to say. Their nervous system is saying something before every interaction with authority that most managers never hear. Am I safe here? That question is not a weakness. It is the output of a polyvagal nervous system that was shaped inside a world of chronic institutional instability, where authority figures consistently said one thing and did another. Their threat detection system is calibrated high, not because they are fragile, but because the data they grew up on taught them to be vigilant. When you acknowledge before you instruct, you are sending a direct signal to that threat detection system. This is not an attack. You do not need to defend. And a nervous system that is not in defense mode is a nervous system that can actually receive what you are about to say and do something productive with it. 60 seconds of acknowledgement saves hours of silent resistance. Thing 3. Give feedback privately. Give praise publicly and specifically. Never correct a Gen Z employee in front of others, and when you praise them, never make it vague. You already know the neuroscience of public correction from the research on social pain. The anterior cingulate cortex processes public humiliation with the same intensity as physical injury. That knowledge should permanently change where you choose to have difficult conversations. But the praise side of this equation is equally important, and most managers get it wrong. Saying "great job this week" to a Gen Z employee does not land the way you expect it to. Their brain has been trained on specificity. They grew up in a world of data, analytics, and precise digital feedback. Vague praise feels performative to them. Their nervous system reads it as noise rather than signal. What works is specific behavioral recognition delivered publicly. I want the team to know that Maya caught an error in the client data on Friday afternoon that would have cost us the presentation. That kind of attention to detail is exactly what this team needs. That is not flattery. That is a data point. Their brain can hold onto a data point. It becomes part of their professional self-concept in a way that "great job" never will. And doing it in front of others activates the same social neural circuitry that public shame damages, except in the opposite direction. Thing 4. Respect the boundary. At 5 p.m. like it is a legal contract. Do not send the non-urgent email at 8 p.m. Do not send the quick question text on Sunday morning. Do not frame out-of-hours responsiveness as dedication and then express subtle disappointment when it isn't there. Here is what most people don't realize. The boundary at the end of the workday is not about laziness. It is about a nervous system that has learned, through watching the generation before them burn out completely, that chronic work-life blurring is a physiological threat, not a character virtue. Polyvagal theory establishes that the nervous system requires genuine periods of safety and rest to restore its capacity for full engagement. When the workday never truly ends because the phone keeps pinging and the emails keep arriving, the parasympathetic nervous system, the branch responsible for rest, recovery, creativity, and emotional regulation, never gets the signal that it is safe to power down. The result is a low-grade but continuous stress response that accumulates over weeks and months into something that looks, from a manager's perspective, exactly like disengagement. When you respect the 5 p.m. boundary without exception, you are not rewarding laziness. You are creating the physiological conditions under which a full, creative, highly engaged human being shows up for you the following morning. Every manager who violates that boundary and then complains about low energy and poor performance is creating the exact outcome they are criticizing. Thing 5. Ask their opinion on something real. Once a day, ask your Gen Z employee for their genuine perspective on something that actually matters, not a survey, not a token quote 10 at the end of a meeting where the decision has already been made. A real question about a real problem, where their answer genuinely has the possibility of changing something. __quote_1. 1__autonomy is one of the 3 core psychological needs identified in self-determination theory by researchers DC and Ryan. When a person's need for autonomy is consistently met in their environment, intrinsic motivation activates. They begin to feel that their presence is not just filling a role, but shaping an outcome. That shift from role filler to shaper is the psychological threshold at which loyalty becomes real rather than transactional. Gen Z does not give loyalty in exchange for a paycheck. They give loyalty in exchange for genuine ownership. Give them real questions and honor real answers, and you are building something that a competitor's offer letter cannot easily dismantle. Thing 6. Name what they are doing well with precision every single day. This is different from the public praise of Thing 3. This is private, daily, specific reinforcement. A message at the end of the day. A sentence in passing. A 30-second observation that says, "I am watching, I notice, and what I notice is worth naming." The way you structured that argument in the email today was really clear. It's a skill not everyone has. Neuroscience has confirmed that specific positive behavioral feedback triggers the dopaminergic reward pathway, the same system involved in motivation and learning consolidation. But it also does something more important for Gen Z specifically. It builds what psychologist Carol Dweck calls the growth mindset architecture, the internal belief that specific actions and skills are being observed, valued, and developed. This is the architecture that makes a person want to bring their full capability to the work, rather than the minimum required to survive it. Most managers give this kind of feedback quarterly in a performance review. The neuroscience says it needs to happen daily for it to rewire behavior. 30 seconds, one specific observation every day. That is the difference between an employee who is present and an employee who is invested. Thing 7. Check in with no agenda. Once a day, approach your Gen Z employee with no task, no feedback, no deliverable, no ask, just a human question. How is the week feeling? Or simply, is there anything you need that you don't have? Then stop talking and actually listen to the answer. Research in organizational psychology consistently identifies what is called relational trust as the single most powerful predictor of employee retention across all generations. But for Gen Z, who grew up in a world where every institutional interaction was transactional, where even social media built engagement through reward and extraction, a purely connective moment with a person in authority carries disproportionate psychological weight. Their nervous system is saying, in that moment, something it rarely gets to say in a workplace. This person is not here because they need something from me. They are here because they see me as a person. And a person who feels seen by the institution they work within does not spend their lunch break updating their LinkedIn profile. 7 things. None of them complicated, none of them expensive. None of them requiring a budget approval or an HR initiative or a leadership offsite. What they require is a daily decision to treat the young person across from you not as a resource to be optimized, but as a nervous system shaped by a world you did not have to live through, trying to do something meaningful inside the 8 hours you share. Here is what science has now confirmed that management theory has been slow to accept. Loyalty was never purchased. It was never mandated by a contract or enforced by a policy. It was always built in the small moments, the daily acknowledgement, the private correction, the question with no agenda. The 5 p.m. that actually means 5 p.m. Those moments are available to you right now, tomorrow morning. In the first 10 minutes